Which leads me to something else, Cooper. You asked me in our phone call preparation for this, which we talked very briefly, you wanted to be told something interesting.
Yeah, tell me something cool.
I want to see if you happen to know what the largest automobile car heist has been in the history of the automobile. What was the largest theft of automobiles?
Well, they did pretty good in Gone in 60 Seconds.
They did.
Vin Diesel has definitely taken a few.
Yeah. Top 10 right there.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage and Vin Diesel.
I was going to say, or the Italian Job.
Ooh.
There's quite a few that I come to mind instantly.
They just stole gold. They didn't really steal
the
any
Italian,
vehicles.
Yeah, they had those little Mini
Gone
Coopers.
in 60 Seconds is a lot of money. And then, you know.
Didn't they steal a bunch of cars all at the same time?
Yeah, they basically.
I think that was the plot of that movie.
The plot of the movie was the brother of Nicolas Cage got in some trouble financially or with drugs or something, and in order to pay his debt, they had to get all these cars for this guy, like this super like bad car collector. So Mark Mitchell.
Yeah.
Some super rich, evil car collector.
Too many cars. He doesn't need them.
Yeah. So Mark
Robin
Mitchell.
Hood, take them from the rich, give them to the poor. The poor need that Bugatti.
Yeah, right. So basically, Mark Mitchell says, I need all these cars in 24 hours. And that's Gone in 6 seconds. They go get the cars. They have 24 hours to get them all. They're running around town.
Yeah.
They nickname all the cars those girls' names. And that's kind of how it all works.
Classic Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah.
He was really the guy in that deal. So the largest heist, if I were to guess, it was probably one car that was very expensive. Probably some kind of classic Ferrari, if I were to guess. I don't know anything about it, but I think most people would think, oh, you stole like a ship full of cars or something.
Think bigger scale. Think that scale. Yes, go that way. I'll give you some hints. Think ship full of cars. Think much bigger.
Wow.
Think much bigger. Not a single car.
Interesting. I would think it would be some, gull-wing Ferrari that was worth $80 million or something crazy. So ship full of cars. Man, who would even be able to steal a ship full of cars? I would imagine it probably happened in some kind of communist country that stole it. Maybe Cuba, Venezuela type of South American country.
Good. You're right on the track. Would you like me to allow you to keep going?
Okay, so it was probably the drug cartel in Mexico, if I were to pinpoint
that's not
something.
It,
no? Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so back in the 70s.
That was only my deductive reasoning.
No, that was good. And I helped you a little bit, but that was really good. So
okay,
back in the 70s, back in the 1970s, the North Korean economy was doing rather well, and it was an evolving market for automobile manufacturers. Alfa was one of them, Volvo was one of them, and a couple other manufacturers that no longer exist. But Volvo struck a deal with the North Korean government. As you can imagine, there's no business in North Korea. It's just the government you do business with.
Yeah.
For roughly 1,000 Volvos. Those Volvos were all transported into North Korea, and not a single one of those Volvos has ever been paid for. Amassing to a roughly $2.2 billion worth of vehicles.
For 1,000 Volvos?
Well, I think inflation and interest it puts you at about a $2.2 million debt.
That's a bad deal.
Yep. So North Korea from Sweden stole 1,000 Volvos. It is documented as the largest automotive heist in history.
They kind of had that coming, though. I mean, if you're gonna give that many cars if you're gonna think that you're gonna sell that many cars to North Korea, and you're like, I'm making all this money off some communist regime here, good deal.
Yeah, well, the first thing I thought while I'm reading this article, I'm like, no deposit, no amount of money up front. I'm reading like never any mention of a deposit or cash up front.
They probably gave him currency that was worthless.
Right?
You can only use it here, and we won't accept it.
Yeah, dude. Oh, we printed specially for you.
Exactly. like how easy would that have been?
Yeah. Dude, so I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah, cool. Good. I'm glad that was something you hadn't heard.
Yeah, I like Volvos too, so it's said that 1,000 of them are still probably running around.
Yeah. Until roughly 2010, those cars were still being seen in Pyeongchang. I might be mispronouncing it, the capital of North Korea. But yeah, until roughly about 10 years ago, they were still being seen on the roads and stuff. So as you can imagine, 70s to now, it's like, I love Volvo, but if they still are on the road driving, all power to them.
I mean, they might be. It's like in Cuba where there's not many cars coming into the country. They kind of have to just keep the ones that are there running.
Yeah.
And if you go to Cuba, you see all these like old classic cars, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful and cool." But then you open the hood, and it's like a lawnmower engine because the engine had blown up, and they don't have anything else for
Yeah,
them.
no, of course.